18. We're talking about End of Outsiders. Let's see. So, out of curiosity, how many of you guys did finish book?
I actually read this.
I was busy.
Me.
Check.
I was busy playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
well, me too on that.
I just listened to the audiobook on the bus.
on the bus.
So, with book, did it end up being not awful?
Yeah. It was very cool.
Well, I
Yeah.
didn't like it when Ponyboy died.
By show of hands,
died.
how many of you guys say the book was at least not awful? Does anyone want to go so far as saying the book may have been good? Wow, okay. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. Then. Let's see.
I think it was sad.
It was
There's
depressing.
definitely sad
It
parts.
was definitely readable.
No, I didn't read that part. So
I don't know what that
You
is.
didn't
Take
read the
that.
prologue?
What was a prologue?
What? What's a prologue?
I don't know. The part
Prologue is the very beginning. Epilogue is at the very
You didn't know the
end.
epilogue?
There you go.
Yeah,
Epilogue. You got the log part. You
There's
just
an
forgot which
epilogue?
part of log.
What's an
Epilogue means there isn't.
The part that Ponyboy died.
Then you, this is the part where Evan keeps trying to make stuff.
There's a horsey.
Good job.
Mickey Mouse.
So, as far as the discussion from Friday goes, just reminding you to make sure you have it
I
submitted.
submitted it last night.
If not, then I would
I
have to
didn't
be
do
I
it.
submitted it on Friday.
Hey, what time is it due?
midnight,
Midnight.
so you have time.
I think it's due
So actually it's due Tuesday.
Hopefully,
No, it's not.
It's due Thursday.
If it's due midnight, then midnight
It's
is
due-
Tuesday.
No,
It's
it's
due
due.
11:59.
This class is a little bit delicious.
you're a little bit something to say the least.
Well, it's
Also worked up. Hopefully, Friday's conversation went well as far as us talking about the thing with the Fortnite and the teacher and stuff like that, and found it somewhat interesting and useful as far as conversations go. Lava, were you wanting to yell at someone?
This class is scary.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Eva, you're scary.
Hi.
I'll give you my username. Will you play with me?
Right, and Hadley
What I missed, like,
on Friday. That's why I recorded class.
He died because he was trying to in real life with
Me
kids.
neither.
Well, it's not posted till the end of the
The
day.
link didn't work.
Yeah.
oh, that's why
Then again, has anyone looked at the sample test thing I posted?
No.
Alright, just curious, just trying to help people.
Yeah, I'll do it tonight.
Sure you will, of course you will.
Yeah,
I'll do it tomorrow night.
So again, how it looks, it just sort of goes through, shows you the different example ones to give you an idea. I'm aiming for around 30 questions on this one. 50 points is what I'm aiming for. It gives you an idea. Your ability to recognize numbers is strong. Very strong.
Yeah, it's 51, 52, 53.
Then,
What in the world?
Oh my
I found, as I keep doing my searching for different things, I keep finding people's fan art of them. So there's
Guys, I just need a Why did they put two bits and look like that? Who created this?
Except for the fact that Soda Pop and Steve look like twins.
Yeah, they do look like twins.
But Dally does look sneaky. They at least got that part down.
What is two-bit?
Ponyboy
Mouse shirt.
Johnny does look like a scared little kid.
He looks like Ben.
Now, I don't know why they gave 2-bit a faux hawk, but that's-
That looks like 2-bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I said.
Guys, do I look like two bit?
Wait, yeah, why is he
Mr.
so
Brovicast looks like Derek.
Mr. Brovicast looks like
Mr.
that.
Brovicast
died.
Ponyboy died again because he gets shot like Dally. Jerry died when he was back to the top.
See, that's actually
Dallas
something.
wins.
No, Dally dies.
And
then
Ponyboy. Die.
Ponyboy doesn't die.
Johnny
Johnny does not die.
Boy hybrid.
Johnny killed
Ponyboy.
Cherry dies.
technically, we're referring to your B points now that die. And we can now bury them. They're gone. So many kids who keep yelling out loud. It'd be almost hard to keep. Oh, wait, no, I kept track just fine. Hi, Henry.
instead of bury, you could dairy it.
I apologize for calling on you again. So as far as what goes from there, let's see, this is like where we left off with you guys. I did that one with the sickness, and then we had Randy come to visit Ponyboy.
Yes.
And that's where he's convinced that the trial coming up, and then Caleb, what's up?
Look at the discussion guide. Well, I don't know if your book has a discussion guide. The first question says that they're pronounced sausages.
Does it?
Yeah.
Mine does not have the same one on there.
I'm gonna look.
It's
Socks.
You need salt?
So is it spell it S-O-S-H-E-S? Yeah, just like they did in the book way in chapter 1 when they first introduced them, they say socius. Yeah.
It's so
It's socius.
That says social.
It's so he's.
It's
so
so-
he's.
Because again,
And then
what word is it short for?
Social.
Socials, hence it being social.
It's sausage.
There you go.
No, it does say that.
socks.
Yes.
You wanna see?
So he's.
I know
it
it.
says social. It says sauce. That's how you say sausage.
So he's.
We covered the court hearing. Ooh.
But it's not
I forgot.
I know this
I
one.
don't think there was a scene I covered back with you. Way back, and I apologize for missing this. I'm gonna try and find it real quick. When Johnny and Ponyboy get back from, what do you call it, the church when they were hiding out. They were talking to the boys about the younger Soda Pop's girlfriend. What was her name? No. Sandy. That's what I was going for. When they get back from the church, they find out that something happened between Soda Pop and Sandy. I don't think we talked about that, did we?
No.
Okay. Because in that particular scene is when they're like joking back and forth, and actually I'm going to find that scene real quick. Give me a hot moment. I know roughly where it is. They come back and they're joking about getting ready to go for the fight, waiting to hear about Dally and Johnny, and then they're going to...
You got problems with my frog getting black?
Yeah. No, that's not what I meant.
I never said such a thing.
Frogs are great.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
So it's on page 111. They're joking back and forth. This is where they talk about Soda Pop and Sandy. Let's see. Where are you going to get the dough, little man? Talking about throwing a party after the rumble. Derry had found the cake and was handing out pieces. I'll think of something, Soda Pop assured him between bites. You going to take Sandy to the party? I asked, just to be saying something. Instant silence. I looked around. What? What's the deal? Soda Pop was staring at his feet, but his ears were reddening. No, she went to live with her grandmother in Florida. Oh, how come? Look, Steve said, surprisingly angry. Does he have to draw you a picture? It was either that or get married. And her parents almost hit the roof at the idea of her marrying a 16-year-old kid. 17. I'll be 17 in a couple of weeks. Oh, I said, embarrassed. Soda was no innocent. I'd been in on bowl sessions, and his bragging was as loud as anyone's, but never about Sandy. Not ever about Sandy. So, something happened between Soda and Sandy. There you go.
She adopted.
So, back during this time period, when a guy and a girl like each other, and if she were to get pregnant, parents would give you a choice. You either, A, you would move away for 9 months, and then you would go live with your grandparents, and then you would give the child up for adoption, and then you would move back to the high school, and it would be like, hey, I went to go live with my grandparents for 9 months, and then you would return. Or you would have to get married to them. And so apparently being 16, her parents were like, yeah, that's not going to happen. You're not going to marry this 16, almost 17-year-old. So that's why she had to leave to go to Florida to live with her grandparents. And so that's where that issue comes in. Then we find out even more at the end of the book, where a letter gets returned that he was sending down to her. And did you guys catch what we find out at the end?
It was unopened.
It was unopened, but that's not what we find out about Sandy.
She died.
She does not die like Ponyboy.
I told
Let me read this part. Where is it? No. Look. Dairy. Sure. Ah, there it is. Page 174. Where it says, don't! Oh, you guys, why can't you? And this is when Soda Pop got all mad and ran away. He jumped up suddenly and bolted out the door. Derry and I were struck dumb. Derry picked up the envelope that Soda had dropped. It's the letter he wrote Sandy, Derry said without expression. It's returned, unopened. So that's what had been bugging Soda all afternoon, and I hadn't even bothered to find out. And while I was thinking about it, I realized that I'd never paid much attention to Soda's problems. Derry and I just took it for granted that he didn't have any. When Soda went to Florida, it wasn't Soda, Pony Boy. He told me he loved her, but I guess she didn't love him like he thought she did because it wasn't him. You don't have to draw me a picture. He wanted to marry her anyway. She just left. So what does it mean by it wasn't him?
He didn't get
Not the father.
He was not the father. But what was Soda Pop going to do? Still loved her enough that he was going to marry her anyway, knowing the fact that she cheated on him and the fact that she was pregnant with another dude's kid and the fact that she was 16 years old, but Soda was trying to be a good person and Sandy put the hand in his face and still says no.
No.
So apparently a little on the heartbreaking side on that one.
like, yo, you're disgusting.
I know. How dare you have emotions and feelings? Oh my God. So after we had the whole issue with Ponyboy going back to the court, what issues does he have with school and friends?
He's terrible.
He's depressed.
So what's going on with him?
He's a little
Depression.
depressed.
And so this is again, as a teacher, I see this happen a lot with kids, where all of a sudden school is no longer important when your home life kind of sucks and you have all these other things going on. After a while, kids are like, why should I care about school when I have all of these other horrible things going on? That's where Ponyboy is. He went from being this great student who was caring about things to having his parents die, to having his friends die, to having his whole life falling apart. He was like, I'm sorry, why should I care again? I don't. And so he just sort of stops caring about everything. The drawback is he's 14 years old, which might be a little early to stop caring about everything. Oh, did that one. And so his English teacher tries to help him, Mr. Symes, and says, hey, you're going to fail my class unless they keep calling it a theme, but for us that would just mean an essay. And how long is the essay he's supposed to write?
More than 5.
Around 5 pages. More than 5. What's it supposed to be about?
Whatever he wants.
Kind of. Not just anything he wants, but
His life.
closer.
An experience.
Something that happened in his life.
Something important to him. So he gets to write about anything he wants, but it's supposed to be something that was important to you. And so that's what he has to try to figure out. Yes?
It's supposed to be something that is important to him.
Good job, Henry. Feels like you nailed it. And he
He's gonna
ends
talk
up
about how he's gonna die.
calling his teacher in the middle of the night, not a thing I recommend, and asking, is there a maximum length? And the teacher says, no, you can write it as long as you want. And that's where we get to that last part of the book where I'm hoping you figured out things.
Minutes
Yeah,
180
Bill read it.
pages
Uh-huh. Where he goes, Mr. Syme, this is Ponyboy. That essay, how long can it be? Why, not any less than 5 pages. He sounded a little surprised. I'd forgotten it was late at night. Can it be longer? Certainly, Ponyboy. It can be as long as you want it. Thanks. I sat down and picked up my pen, thought for a minute, remembering a handsome, dark boy with a reckless grin and a hot temper. Who's that?
That's
Yeah,
Derry.
like,
That's
So
Ponyboy
it's
died.
So
Me.
I
think it's
Ponyboy.
Still waiting for the right name.
Sally.
So hang on. So to help you guys out,
Elon.
saying the same name multiple times
It's not gonna
does not make it more right. It
It's
just makes you more special.
His mom.
Sally.
Who?
Paul Newman.
No, but a good try. Also, you felt strong.
Is it?
Bob.
Yeah, Bob.
It's Bob.
You didn't know his.
I forgot.
I said
It is a long name. I understand how one could
I said Robert.
So that's the one he's going with is Bob. Yes?
If I call you in the middle of the night, will you take my B points?
Well, being as that I won't take your call, you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, when he says remembering a handsome, dark boy with a reckless grin and a hot temper, that one's Bob. A tough, tow-headed boy, meaning blonde hair, with a cigarette in his mouth and a bitter grin on his hard face,
Mary. Me.
that one's Dally. Remembering, and this time it didn't hurt, a quiet, defeated-looking 16-year-old whose hair needed cutting badly and who had black eyes with a frightened expression.
Johnny.
So he's going through the 3 people who died, so that would be Johnny. Although I do find it weird, he says he needed a haircut, and although didn't they just cut his hair with a knife? He was like, they just cut it.
Maybe they did a really bad job.
Maybe he's a liar.
And who had to say, 1 week had taken all 3 of them, and I decided I could tell people, beginning with my English teacher. I wondered for a long time how to start that essay, how to start writing about something that was important to me. And I finally began like this. When I stepped out into the bright sunlight from the darkness of the movie house, I had only 2 things on my mind, Paul Newman and a ride home.
That's the first time.
Because where did we see that sentence?
At the beginning of the book.
So, with that one, partly why at the very beginning of the
This
book,
is an amazing book. That's awesome. It's like I woke up and it's all a dream, but it's like in a book better.
it's when we first started it, and he starts off with stepping out of the movie house, and I talk about Paul Newman. How did you guys remember who Paul Newman was?
That's hot.
That was not where I was going with, but I'm glad to see you thought he was the hot guy. I was going to go with the voice from Cars, or the...
Oh yeah, you told us about that.
Yes, I did. The idea being is that I wanted you to remember his name so that at the end of the book, when you saw it again, it would stay with you to try and help you remember that whole full circle thing. Or for some of you, you were like, oh, it's that hot guy, which was not where I was expecting that to go, but it's all
I
right.
like how it was mostly guys.
Eden?
Wait, so this book is his entire essay.
So, because what is it he found out that's important to him?
His friends who died.
His friends. And the idea that for him, friends are important.
No.
Caroline?
Wait, I forgot what I was gonna say.
That does make it tough, Caroline. Elena?
I remember that you said he was like the Ryan Reynolds.
He was the, which apparently makes him the hot guy.
Man likes it.
That's what Ben said he was hot.
So, little things to remind you. On page 171 was a scene I kind of dig.
Oh yeah.
This is when he and Steve and Two-Bit are all out the restaurant, and they're sitting outside, and the socials show up to sort of threaten him. That was the scene I wanted to get to. So bottom of page 170 to 171 says, I was sitting on the fender of Steve's car, smoking and drinking a Pepsi, while he and Two-Bit were inside talking to some girls, when a car drove up and 3 socias got out. I just sat there and looked at him and took another swallow of the Pepsi. I wasn't scared. It was the oddest feeling in the world. I didn't feel anything. Scared, mad, anything. Just zero. You're the guy that killed Bob Sheldon, one of them said. He was a friend of ours. We don't like nobody killing our friends, especially greasers. Big deal. I busted the end off my bottle and held onto the neck and tossed away my cigarette. You get back in your car, you'll get split. They looked kind of surprised. One of them backed up. I mean it. I hopped off the car. I've had about all I can take from you guys. I started toward him, holding the bottle the way Tim Shepard holds a switchblade, out and away from myself in a loose but firm hold. I guess they knew I meant business because they got into their car and drove off. So how is that different than earlier?
Because he actually was gonna kill him.
As opposed to that first scene where they smashed the bottle and handed it to him, and he was like, I could never use this. And now he's like, smash, cut a fool, and he just goes right at him. He's like, I'm going to stab you and kill you, and you're going to die, and I'm going to watch you bleed out right in front of me. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave now. And they just sort of back away. So we get the fact that he's changed. It says, you really would have used that bottle, wouldn't you? Two-Bit had been watching from the store doorway. Steve and me were backing you, but I guess we didn't need to. You'd have really cut them up, huh? I guess so, I said with a sigh. I didn't see what Two-Bit was sweating about. Anyone else could have done the same thing, and Two-Bit wouldn't have thought about it twice. So what does this tell us about Pony Boy? He is now getting to be like Dally. The fact that he's realized that you just gotta not care and kill people.
Yeah.
Pony boy, listen. Don't get tough. You're not like the rest of us. Don't try to be. What's the matter with Two-Bit? I knew as well as he did that if you get tough, you don't get hurt. You get smart, nothing can touch you. What in the world are you doing? Two-Bit's voice broke into my thoughts. I looked up at him, picking up the glass. He stared at me for a second, then grinned. You little son of a gun, he said in a relieved voice. I didn't know what he was talking about, so I just went on picking up the glass from the bottle end and put it in the trash can. I didn't want anyone to get a flat tire. So what's that tell you about him? So even though he's trying to be that way, like in his heart, he's still a good person. Where he smashes a bottle and he's willing to cut your throat and watch you die. And he's like, but I mean, you don't want to get a flat tire. That's just wrong. And so like he'll sit there and like scoop up all the little glass pieces and throw them away. So it's just that moment of him willing to kill you, but not get a flat tire. I mean, the boy has a line he's not going to cross. Yeah, that one. Good job. And then talked about Sandy, so we're going to go there. And then, ooh, the final letter to Pony Boy.
This is when Pony Boy gets
Before Pony Boy.
Okay, so
It's not that sad.
Where did he find the letter?
when you got in the way,
In the book.
just reading along inside something from your
But it still hurt anyway. You know a guy a long time, and I mean really know him, you don't get used to the idea that he's dead just overnight. Johnny was something more than a buddy to all of us. I guess he'd listened to more beefs and more problems from more people than any of us. A guy that'll really listen to you, listen and care about what you're saying, is something rare. You know, I couldn't forget him telling me that he hadn't done enough. Hadn't been out of our neighborhood all his life. And then it was too late. I took a deep breath and opened the book. A slip of paper fell out on the floor, and I picked it up. Pony Boy, I asked the nurse to give you this book so you could finish it. It was Johnny's handwriting. I went on reading, almost hearing Johnny's quiet voice. The doctor came in a while ago, but I knew anyway. I keep getting tireder and tireder. Listen, I don't mind dying now. It's worth it. It's worth saving those kids.
No.
Their lives are worth more than mine. They have more to live for. Some of their parents came by to thank me, and I know it was worth it. Tell Dally it's worth it. I'm just going to miss you guys. I've been thinking about it. In that poem, that guy that wrote it, he meant you're gold when you're a kid, like green. When you're a kid, everything's new, like dawn. It's just when you get used to everything that it's day. Like the way you dig sunsets, Pony. That's gold. Keep that way. It's a good way to be. And I want you to tell Dally to look at one. He'll probably think you're crazy, but ask for me. Yeah, he did. This was before he died. I don't think he's ever really seen a sunset. And don't be so bugged over being a greaser. You still have a lot of time to make yourself be what you want. There's still lots of good in the world. Tell Dally, I don't think he knows. Your buddy, Johnny. And of course, the next line is, tell Dally. It's too late to tell Dally. Understatement. So when you guys opened the book, did you guys say in the back there's a picture of a horse?
Yes, it was.
With
I
the-
said that.
And is the lady next to it?
Oh, that's the horse.
See?
There is. So, not the horse, but the lady. That's the lady who wrote it, Susan Elaine Hinton. So S.E. Hinton. And so it is a girl. The reason that she used her initials S.E. is that they said that boys would not read the book if it was written by a girl, so they used her initials
I
instead.
don't pay attention to the author. I just read the book.
She actually wrote this book when she was 16 in high school. And she wrote it after getting into a fight with her English teacher because she thought the books they were reading in class were crap. And so she called out the teacher and was like, what you keep making us read are horrible. His response was, if you don't like the books I'm choosing, you write a better one. So
Yeah, I will.
she did.
She wrote an amazing.
She wrote a book that was actually about her friends, and she actually put herself in the book.
She did? Is her name Judy?
It is not. She's Cherry. And so what happened was, in her actual high school, she was this kid that was friends with two groups, the really popular kids and the kind of poor kids. And she was watching her two friend groups fight each other all the time. And she eventually told them, if you keep doing this and it keeps getting worse, eventually one of you is going to die. So she decided to write a book where all about her friends, where one of her friends ends up killing another one of her friends.
Did that actually happen?
It did not. Luckily, her writing the book helped this sort of ease away in her town where it was going on. But yeah, she put herself in the story as Cherry, as that person who sort of goes between the two different sides. And so that's where the idea for the outsiders came from. Henry?
Don't judge a book by its cover.
That is true, even though there's, or a girl by her horse picture. Elena?
Actually, from the cover, I can tell the whole story. I can tell what the story actually was.
I could
From the cover.
definitely, it tells you Ponyboy's gonna die right there on that cover.
Who is this person? Like, who is
You alright, Joshua? I like the way you're looking into it. That's getting us ready for poetry later this week, as you're looking into the metaphor that's there. It is.
I had a gold Santa.
Stay gold. Oh wait, mine's not gold.
You're not gold, Mr. Brovicast.
Stay gold. Yours is stay gold.
Mr. Brovicast called you the gold Santa.
Stay gold, Santa.
Who is this? Who is this?
That's just a random greaser.
I think it'd be better.
That's the guy that
Can
killed
we
Pony
back
Boy.
up?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fine with me.
Well, he was.
Yeah, he was before he died. Hard.
Elena,
Yes.
true. So you say Ponyboy is a good person?
No.
He didn't die.
Yes, he did, though. You
His intentions are good, but the way they're executed might not be.
It's obvious.